Icarus, the future of survival. Hey guys, in this video we're talking about Icarus and the first beta that occurred during the 28th to the 29th of August. If you have no idea what this game is about, good, because neither did I until after I played it. Basically, Icarus is a session-based PvE game that allows co-op up to 8 players. My experience with Icarus, I started out as solo and only played the beta solo. And like most games that allow co-op, I like to experience it by myself to see if I can enjoy it solo, which is a big factor of whether or not I would continue with the game or refund it. Funny thing about coming into this game blind and not really doing any research is that I expected something else due to the fact of who made it. Dean Hall. I thought since Dean Hall was a part of the DayZ standalone scene and he left to make this game obviously or whatever, I expected a bit more of a hostile environment, maybe with some PvP. Granted, I didn't read or anything about this game and not realizing it's a PvE style survival game, which is fine. But oh boy, was I wrong. Granted, this was the first beta and things could have been toned down just to allow players to get immersed in the environment with the basics. So it makes sense why it might have just been like, ooh, look at the trees. Oh, everything's so easy, which kind of made it boring. I think the biggest positive takeaway from Icarus, at least this beta weekend, or the beta weekend that happened, was just the graphics and the weather effects. That aspect of the game is pretty cool. And that made it unique in its own way. But besides that, the AI was buggy. The bear, which is like really the only predator during that weekend that was like, you couldn't kill it. Because the wolves were easy to kill. The bear was like unstoppable. Like once he aggroes on you, I couldn't get away from him. And he just hunt me down until I die. And at least as a solo player, I couldn't kill him. I mean, maybe if I had a team, it might have worked. But another issue I ran into was I couldn't get a bedroll down to spawn in. Even when I had a home built, like it wouldn't let me spawn or put it down, which was weird. And yeah. One thing I also don't understand is the logic behind the game. Like, why is an individual who was dropped from a space station in a pod that can relaunch back into orbit not bring knowledge and tools to gather and build? Like, why? I don't understand why my dude is sent back into the Stone Ages. Like, I would expect myself to come down with some basic tools and knowledge to be like, oh, hey, I can build this and have this metal freaking hatchet or something, like, or I don't know, like tech on it, like have some tech like you would in like Subnautica, for example. I just find it silly that I have to level up and gain skill and talent points to unlock Stone Age technology when I drop from a fucking space station. And another thing I didn't really like about this first experience was that the zone was just too small. I was expecting a much more massive zone to explore in and not be blocked off by mountains in like a 5-minute trip. And I plan on staying on top of the Icarus during its beta phase. They got several more chapters coming up. Like the Storms is coming this weekend, I believe. And then Arctic Desert missions and then so forth, whatever. I have some hope for the game. I like what I'm seeing after actually researching about it, because I didn't do anything when I jumped into this. So, I'm not the biggest fan if it's strictly PvE, but if it goes along the lines like other survival games where you're with a bunch of friends and you're surviving and fighting against, some hostile AI environment, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be great. And plus, I also understand that this is the first cohort of Icarus of 2 other chapters, which is the New Frontier and Dangerous Horizons. I think that's the one. And that, from the images on their website, that looks like a really hostile environment, which could be really fun to play with friends. So, but besides that, it wasn't a great experience in general, but I plan on sticking with it, see how the game develops.
Fucking like and subscribe.